Hello, and welcome back to the tutorial series on Make a Good Mega Man level. Anyway, we want to populate this lovely level with stuff. So let's do that. Let's go through things and do this. This one might be a bit longer than usual. So, where do we find what we need? Well, we can, in fact, things are nicely labelled. Enemies are underneath enemies. Level objects are underneath level objects, and gimmicks are underneath gimmicks. And we just populate the level at our discretion. Let me just quickly switch to an older version of the level to show you a few things that are also quite important. I've already gone over what these scrollings do, but there's a couple of other things in the section that you may need to know about. So I'll quickly cover that now, as well as something else you'll want to know whilst testing levels. Say this is like a large chunk of level right here, and you want to go and test Mega Man here. Well, you don't exactly want to go playing through the level every single time you want to test it. What you can always do is place a second copy of Mega Man and then delete the original. This will work. This is fine. This is perfect. Additionally, you want to make a checkpoint. Checkpoints are under level objects. You can place the checkpoint field, which means that that captures the entire room, and will of course Mega Man to spawn on that spot. The two other things you need to set up when setting things up: vertical scrolling is a thing. That is covered by this object. What you do here is you place this object on this line of the boundary. This will mean this room is vertical. And one last thing is pits. Pits couldn't be simpler. There's now a pit section, which is this tiny object there. Place that where you want the pit to be, and that's it. That pit will cover all of that until it hits a solid object. All of that will be a pit. So just place that on the edge of the pit, and it will cover all of that. So if everything's gone right, I can test it. So here we go. Mega Man has now spawned in this room rather than the room beforehand. Obviously, because there's only one copy of Mega Man. So you can delete and replace Mega Man at will to easily and quickly test your level. Now, one of the things is the vertical scrolling. There we go. It's working. Huzzah. And just to check the pit. Now, I think the checkpoint has caught. Yep, the checkpoint did in fact catch us. There you go. So that's how you place checkpoints, that's how you place Mega Man in new locations, that's how you place vertical scrolling, and that's how you place pits. Nice and simple. Now getting on to the good stuff, enemies and gimmicks. So how do we place an enemy, say, here? Well, it's quite simple. What enemy do you want to place there, for starters? I'm not sure. There's a huge selection. We probably want here to stop Mega Man from just climbing straight up the ladder, something that's stationary and its own shoots. Oh, it would be perfect. The Fat Meat on the Wonder Spawn game. There we go. That'll just sit there. Now that's sat there, it's done, it's ready, it'll work. Simple as that. That's how you do it. On the other hand, there are some enemies with options. Hopefully we'll have a readme file saying what enemies have what options, but I'm just going to go through it briefly here by selecting one I know has an option, which is Be Bitter. It's just pretty much the same thing, it pops out and shoots. Now this thing has an alternate set of palettes. It currently can either be green or orange, and we should have a readme detailing these when they actually release the dev kit. But if we don't, there's another way of looking. We can go into the source code of the object. Bitter, hello. And in this case, anything under creation code, this is all optional, is stuff you can stick in the creation code. Now we learned about creation codes in the last tutorial, but I'm just going to go through it again. I'm going to copy that. You can right click an object, go to creation code, and paste creation code there. We now know which variables do what. 0 means it will be green, and 1 means it will be orange. We want this to be orange for whatever reason. So 1, and with that, So it's a green sprite there, as you can clearly see. If we run the game now, it's orange. Oh, and just to prove it was green before, delete, and now it's green. It's that simple. So we're trying to get any alternate palettes that the enemies actually had into the engine. Should be done by the time the engine actually releases. But yeah, we now have an enemy. Huzzah! We can actually fight it. There we go. Enemy defeated. What about gimmicks, you say? Well, we've got an enemy placed. Gimmicks are placed just the same way. You can get level objects to gimmicks. Now, I think we need something here to say, ooh, slow Mega Man down. I'm going to place an enemy over here. Ow would be appropriate. There we go. That will shoot Mega Man as he goes along. As for what enemies do, we're again trying to have a help file ready for you guys. If that isn't the case, trial and error will have to suffice. We want to slow Mega Man down here, so we're going to go to gimmicks. I think, in this case, the ice platforms from Dr. Wily's Revenge, got quite a lot of stuff here, should do nicely in stopping Mega Man from... It will give Ow time to shoot Mega Man as he traverses these blocks. These blocks dissolve. We also have spikes here. Yep. Which is kind of an issue. We could do all sorts. We could place like a wind effect there, but we're not going to. I'm going to put a different gimmick. Let's go to Mega Man 10, 9, and put a Concrete Man platform there. Now, if at any point you think to yourself, well, I don't quite like the placement of that because this is on a grid, and you want to be on a grid, the 16x16 grid you just want to be, it makes your life so much easier. But if sometimes you don't have something where you want, you can always right click and change the position by a set amount. There we go, that's now looking pretty there. In the middle, that looks more aesthetically pleasing. So here the current thing we've got going is Mega Man has to fight this cannon, get through the snowball blocks, jump onto there and go to here. Now we've got a pit of water here which Mega Man needs to traverse. And what we can place here under gimmicks, he maybe moves some enemies by the time we because there's been a bit of confusion with this guy's placement in the dev kit. He may be in enemies, it may be in gimmicks, you'll just have to look. But I think Puka, the Mega Man 6, the one where you have to shoot him and he blows up and becomes a platform, would be just swell for getting you across this. And we could even force the player to use Puka here as level design. Level design is a fluid process, so we can always just add the animation on the right layer. I am. That there, let's add a shadow. Not missing a shadow elsewhere. That was. Add a shadow. So this will stop players necessarily using super arrow just to get over this. So this will force players to go, oh, I've got to use Puka. Fair enough. So you can plan around the levels accordingly. Of course, players could use Puka arrow from here, but no here or there. You can't, you know. But I would recommend having options for people not to be forced to use weapons, particularly in situations like this. Here, this setup, there's no easy way for you to refill your weapon energy. So if you fail, and you're stuck. This is a level design tip. So you always want to make sure there's a way out without weapons. You have a way with weapons, a way without weapons. But here in this setup, there's no easy way of actually getting through without weapons. So Puka, being the champ he is going to get you across the water. Okay, swell. Hi guys, did you spot my mistake while editing the level? I certainly didn't. I've actually been using the wrong tile set. Now, something I did say earlier, if you use the wrong tile set with the auto tiler, you can get yourself mixed up, and I selected the wrong tile set. This is the wrong tile set. It doesn't look like the wrong tile set, but it is. So we're just going to have to quickly replace these with the correct tile set. There are ways of getting around this, making sure you don't mess up like an idiot, like I've just done. Which is to have these as alternate colours. So you place them down and go, oh wait, no, this is wrong. And then change them back when you actually finish with the level. That's just a way. You'll have a garish level for a bit, but it's a way of doing it. Anyway, one of the things you can do, as we're doing the gimmicks, we can also use other tile sets, as I've just demonstrated by complete accident. So, there's not many tile sets in this version of the dev kit, but we do have Centaur Man's Water, which I do believe can be animated. So, we're going to use Centaur Man's Water here. We're going to place this on this layer, because otherwise placing it on the main layer will mean it'll try to load graphics from the animated tile sets as it animates. Yay! So we're going to place some Centaur Man Water down here to represent you falling out of the water area. Awesome. Now we do want this to animate, and there is absolutely no reason you can't just have a second tile animation object. And we are lazy, programmers are always lazy, so copy paste code where you can. So, we've changed layers to that, I do believe. We want tileset center water. It's just one in this case. Then water 2. And if we've done that on the right layer, that'll now be animated separately to the rest of it. Have we already done it at a different speed? Awesome. So we have filled out. I've shown you how to fill out gimmicks and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of the stage and play through it. Okay, and show you just some of the things you can do. Okay, as an example stage, here we go. Here's the ice level. Don't think I needed to talk you through the entire thing. Ow. But just giving you an example of what you can pull off. That's a Udon missile following me, and I managed to despawn that. Brilliant. Okay, this is what level design is all about. Playtesting, seeing if it works. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board, try something different. We've now made it so you can't shoot the ow-ow. We also moved the ow-ow backwards, so you no longer get hurt while walking up the ladder. And we prevented you from shooting this puka too early. In fact, playtesting this now. The Udon probably makes things far too difficult. Back to the drawing board. This is not an example of good level design, it's just an example of a level design. More than anything else. And this has just been made for the tutorial and it's pretty much winged. We're giving it ow-ow a shield in the form of this. And a ladder so you can reset the room if you so need to. With protection shield down there and down there, mostly to prevent the use of super arrow, so you've got to use puka. You can use super arrow here though, there's no point in stopping that. And here's a concrete man block to give you a split second timing rather than oh my goodness spikes. Out of water. Here we've got springs. barely make that. You can barely make that, that's quite hard. And we're going Ow Ow combined with the world's weakest Tran Fiend. I think these things have been nerfed. So... And of course, everyone's favourite enemy type, the shield attacker. And we've got this lovely section with Chillman blocks. Whoa. These things are little nuts, so try not to jump. And finally, some Mets guarding the gate. There you go, that's a very quick level. This level really didn't take very long. I know it's only a short level, but it was built as a mock-up for a tutorial. It means, I think that shows how easy this level engine is to work with. So, yeah. The next phase, of course, is going to be to add a boss. Now, I'm going to say this now. If your level does not require a boss, don't put one in. The judges don't particularly want to see 50 bazillion Gutsmen as level bosses. We want to see stuff that's original, but we put in example bosses for the sake of being example bosses. But I've got to cover these bosses anyway, so that will be the next tutorial, and I shall catch you guys later.